Good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, the 21st of June, 2023. And hello to one and all in the chat there. Hope you can see me, hope you can hear me, as always. Obviously, I'm producing this and presenting it at the same time, which is, juggling a few balls. Anyway, talking of balls, let's talk about the parliament of this country. Let's talk about a little bit about Boris Johnson, maybe. Has that been done to death? Maybe we should talk about mortgages today and the fact that UK inflation has stayed stubbornly high at 8.7%, despite Rishi Sunak saying he was going to half it. Yeah, that means that interest rates are going to go up, which means more misery for mortgage holders and renters across the nation, which is pretty much everyone who isn't really old and retired and thinks Brexit is still a good idea, which is a bit rubbish as well. We also want to talk a little bit this morning about Trump, unfortunately. Sorry to mention the orange menace from across the water, but there's been some disturbing, for all of us who want Trump to, have a misfortunate accident, like, lose the next election, maybe not even get nominated. The judge that's been put in charge of his case is Eileen Cannon, who is a Trump appointed judge who created a lot of problems for this inquiry last year, where she put obstacles in the way of them actually getting hold of the boxes, and then she wants to put... Remember the whole thing about having a special administrator or something to look into the boxes before anyone else could see it? Yeah, a special master. That's what it was called, a special master. There we go. Okay, so into the chat. We've got Master Templar saying, morning all. We've got Dave W. We've got Heidi High Campers. We've got Ghost Pouch. We've got Mark Wilson. Feckle Buny. We've got Bez Roof. We've got Mark saying, looks like interest rates will be going up again. Means another wave of people moving from just getting by into poverty. Yep, absolutely. Another failure of the Tory government. Another failure of Rishi Sunak, along with hiding under a table on Monday when everybody else was voting to, at least having their say on Boris Johnson's lies, because he's a liar. He was sacked from his first job because he lied. He lied to his wives. He lied to the then leader of the Tory party, Michael Howard, and got sacked for lying. He then lied about Brexit. He lied about what he was going to do as mayor. He lied about a garden bridge. He lied about literally everything. He lied to his wife, who was undergoing chemotherapy, that he definitely wasn't having an affair with an IT consultant or something, who we paid, £126,000 to for IT lessons for Boris Johnson. Also, on top of that, he lied about the £250,000, which we're having to spend on his defence for this select committee, something that he said, oh yeah, that was normal, that's normal. No, it's not normal, never been done before, ever, in the history of the world, ever. It's never been the case of having legal representation paid for by the taxpayer because you are in front of a disciplinary committee in Parliament. First time ever. We paid for that. But don't forget, £250,000 for Boris Johnson is chicken feed. He just bought a £5 million house. I hate him. 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 Right, anyway, moving on. Good morning, says Katrina. Good morning. We got Rob in the chat as well. We've got City Life. Yay. Morning all. We've got Asperger's Europe. We've got Vendetta. We've got One Angry Pagan. Good morning from Pington in Devonshire. Happy solstice to you, my friend. Happy solstice. Or what do I say? Is it good to me? Tell me what to say what's the greeting? Good morning, you lovely people. Geez, why am I feeling so chipper? Something must seriously be wrong. Well, Berlusconi's gone to the great Bunga Bunga party in the sky. That's it for Johnson. I mean, there's always this talk about this sort of political comeback. But let's face it, there's 650 MPs in Parliament. I know they don't all sit, and there you got the Speaker and the tellers and blah, 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 blah. But there's 650 MPs in Parliament, technically speaking. And of them, 643 did not support Boris Johnson in the vote. Even some that actually stood up, like Jacob Rees-Mogg, and said, that's what he said, literally. No one can make head nor tail of it. He sounds like someone's put him on half speed. Why would you watch a video on half speed? I don't know. I usually watch them speed it up so I can watch a video a lot faster than it says to watch it. I've got things to do. Come on. John Wallace says hello from France. Bonjour. Bonjour. Mon ami. We have Lucy saying, when I found out my rent had gone up last March because they had an old email address and now I'm 75 quid in arrears. Bloody hell, Lucy. That sucks. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's, mate. I just hate the fact that we're going to be hearing so many more stories like this. But let's talk about a submarine that's got billionaires in, that's gone to the bottom of the sea because it was made of, stuck together with bubble gum and sticky tape. I mean, seriously, like you got to wonder about the brain power of these people who do this kind of thing. And I'm talking as someone who's gone out and done some quite, objectively dangerous things, but no, nothing on this planet would get me to get myself bolted into a bloody submersible, bolted in so I can't get out, and it's controlled by a Logitech not a PS controller, it was an Xbox controller, a Logitech one. Oh my god, any gamers out there will be like going about that one. And being thrown into the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean, which is 4 kilometers down. 4 kilometers down into the, and the something like the lowest that anyone's managed to get into the sea, the deepest anyone's managed to get into the sea to achieve a rescue has been like 1,600 feet or something, and they're like 16,000 feet. Like, we're talking orders of magnitude deeper, and it's completely dark down there. It's just, the whole thing is just horrible and sickening, and whatever. It's really quite grim. Anyway, but I don't want to talk about that because it's literally dominating all the front news pages, which must be good news in a way for Rishi Sunak, because otherwise it would be UK inflation staying at 8.7% when he promised to halve it at the beginning of the year, which he's not done. He also promised to bring accountability into politics, but then didn't turn up to Boris Johnson's. It was fantastic. If you watched the debate on Monday, it was a thing of rare and exquisite beauty of these MPs standing up and saying, Boris Johnson is a liar. I'm glad I can say that now, because before I couldn't say it because he was an MP, and you're not allowed to call MPs liars. You have to say they've been, they've misled the House. So you have to hedge it in some way. But no, I don't need to do that anymore. Boris Johnson is a liar. Let's say it again all together now. Boris Johnson is a liar. Anyway, he's out of here. Bye-bye, TWAT. Right, morning, John Bull. We've got Ryan in the chat there. If you want me to read your comment out, really, if you drop in a super chat, I'll definitely read it out. Otherwise, I might skip it because there's a lot of comments. I'm not complaining. There's a lot of comments to get through. Sounds like your mic gain is a bit high. Okay, I will sort that out, my friend. Sorry. Complaining about my mic. Oh my God, that is a bit high, isn't it? Okay. Sorry, that was a bit of a weird sound there. Lee Corn there's technical department. Thank you very much, Lee. Where's Wheel? I was amazed that Johnson is only 59. I thought he was 50 25 years ago. Well, yeah, he's one of those people who looks like he was born at the age of 40. Stephanie Wilson, because the fools in charge of the Bank of England have not got a clue what they're doing. Yeah. Wasn't Mervyn King the governor of the Bank of England? Wasn't he a massive Brexiteer? Isn't he still a massive Brexiteer? Rocco Forte was being interviewed on the Andrew, what's his name? Andrew thingy, on LBC. It'll come to me. And he was being interviewed, and he's still a massive Brexiteer. And he said he would support another party if Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage and I don't know, Andrew Tate turned up. And don't read this out. Oh, sorry, conservator. £2.50. Thank you very much. I just said don't read this out. Okay, all right. I just said Andrew thingy. Oh, for God's sake. Marr, that's it. Thank you very much. He was on the Andrew Marr show, privately educated, and so is Rocco Forte. And he was going on about how, great it could have been for Brexit. And you're like, you're still banging that drum, mate. I mean, seriously, just look around you. Look around you. Well, he can look around because he's a millionaire, so he'll probably be all right. Graham, you're forgetting a couple of hundred MPs who did not vote at all. Yes, they didn't. Either through laziness or cowardice. But either way, they should have voted to admonish the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, who is a massive liar. And we knew he was a liar when he went into politics. We knew he was a liar when he lied on the side of a bus. £350 million for the NHS, they said. That's what they said. £350 million for the NHS. They lied and they cheated and they won a referendum that they didn't expect to win. And now our economy, our country, our society has suffered massively as a consequence. And yet, people who voted for this thing, some of them still think it's a good idea. And we just haven't done it right. Yeah. Yeah, we just haven't done it right. All right. Take charge. Yes, another good bit of news there. That Andrew Tate, who is a vile specimen of a human being, along with Loser Fox and Julia Hartless Brewer. Julia Hartless Brewer, who said that she would rather hang out with Tate than hang out with Greta Thunberg, who at the time I think was still a child, she then said on social media that she was lambasted her for being autistic. She bullied her for being autistic on social media. That's what Julia Hartless Brewer did in a tweet defending Andrew Tate, who's now gone down for in charge with rape and sex trafficking. Just the worst, just the absolute worst form of human being you could possibly imagine, and not someone that you want your teenage boys to be aspiring to be when they grow up because he's got fancy cars. Although he's going to hopefully spending the rest of his life behind bars, so you can look at his fancy cars through the bars. That will be good. I had a weird dream about that submarine last night, said Liam. Oh my God. It's infected your dreams now. So many Tory cowards running this country. Don't get me started with Cameron and Osborne. Gideon Osborne, yeah, scumbag. Privately educated. The only interest I have for this submersible story is the lengths we'll go to save them, but not migrants drowning in the Channel Duke. Very good point. Well made. And this really strikes me as one of the most horrific things that we do in our society. We elevate the rich. If you're rich, you are beyond any kind of assault in terms of your character. You have a different legal status to the rest of us. And if you are a refugee, if you've had your home invaded or your country invaded, if you are so terrified for the life of yourself and your family that you leave your country, you don't have any legal rights at all. And then there's all of us in the middle who have, supposed to have these legal rights, but we don't get the benefit of the doubt like these millionaires do, like Andrew Tate, like Trump, like Boris Johnson. And you'll find it's the same people always defending this type of person. It's always the same type of person, isn't it? Who goes, yeah, I love Trump, I love him. And you're like, why? What's he done? Oh, he was the greatest president of all time. He didn't achieve anything. He didn't build a wall. He didn't repeal Obamacare. He was in charge of the executive while they had the Republican Party had both houses of Congress. They had the House of Representatives and they had the Senate in their hands. And he still didn't get half the stuff done that he said he was going to. He didn't get any of the stuff done that he was going to do. And his latest defense, this is quite funny. So he went on this TV show the other day and he made these like string of confessions that can and will be used against him in this trial if it goes ahead with Judge Cannon, who I think she's going to torpedo the trial. You've got to understand she's got a lot of power. So this is one of Trump's mates who's now in charge of the trial into Trump taking all these legal documents. They're the ones who always go on about kangaroo courts and, improper justice and why isn't Hunter Biden being prosecuted for his laptop? Oh, he has just been prosecuted. Okay, but why isn't he being prosecuted harder? Hey, but yet they use every little means of cronyism for their own means, and this goes back to well before, the modern, the current era. If you go back to 2000, don't forget the only reason why George W. Bush won the presidential election in 2000 against Al Gore was his brother was the governor of Florida. It's always Florida, isn't it? And they decided to stop recounting the votes before they'd finished counting them all, when it was down to like 300 votes between Bush and Al Gore. Oh my God. Then we thought it couldn't get any worse. It couldn't get any worse than Trump, could it? Than Bush. Couldn't get any worse than Bush, but it did. Moving on. Same in the monkey society. There's strict social hierarchy. We can't evolve because of our monkey brains. But why do we give these millionaires? But you see someone who's rich and you go, oh yeah, they must know what they're talking about. And even if they're born rich, which is the most frustrating thing, it's like, that's not through talent. That's not through hard work. That's not by pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Someone has suggested that maybe the billionaires in this submarine might want to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, and that's how they could get out of this tricky situation. I wouldn't say that, but someone did. Morning, Blase. We got Daily Blase in the house. Hello, Blase. We've got Ernie Burns. The rich compensate for their lurking sense of guilt by being callous and judgmental. That's very true. The Simpsons got it right. This is America. We don't send our celebrities to jail. Yeah, as O.J. Simpson could attest, until he wasn't a celebrity anymore and well, he went to jail. And so if you're a celebrity, stay a celebrity. Always. And you get away with stuff like Matthew Broderick ran over a person. He got drunk, ran over a person, killed them in Ireland. Matthew Broderick, you know the guy who played Ferris Bueller? Yeah. He and the kid in War Games. Yeah, him. He totally killed a person. I got away with it. Bush's wife, Laura Bush, she totally killed someone as well. She ran them over. She's probably drunk as well. Got away with it. Yeah, didn't go to jail for that. No, because rich people don't. Rich people get away with everything. And I think there's going to be a point where we, normal people who have to actually follow the rules, that the rich people don't have to follow because, I mean, they find it churlish, to use a word that Boris Johnson's ex-housemaster used. They think it churlish that they should have to abide by the rules that bind everybody else in society. And this is where I think we're going to hit a breaking point at some point when people stop, either stop worshipping these billionaires, millionaires, celebrities, whatever, or, just find some self-respect. How about that, eh? How about people just pick themselves up by their bootstraps? Not actually in terms of financial security, because that's not going to happen for a while. But let's just get them off their knees. How about you get off your knees and stop worshipping these scumbags. Stop worshipping people because they're rich. Stop thinking they've got something to offer you because they're rich. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, and by the way, so there was an MP, the MP for the Isle of Wight, who was on Newsnight on Monday, saying that it's about Boris Johnson, and I've forgotten his name. You can look it up. Tell me his name in the chat. The MP for the Isle of Wight, who was on the Victoria Derbyshire show. He's privately educated. She's privately educated, of course. And they're having this chat, and he says that he never called it a kangaroo court. And literally 2 weeks earlier, not even 2 weeks, a week and a half earlier, he was on Newsnight, the same programme, and he called it a kangaroo court. The reason why he backtracked on that, Bob Seeley, incidentally, is the 600th name on my private school mafia list. So if I just type this into the chat, privateschoolmafia.com, and he is the 600th name on that list. And if you're having this conversation with people about why we should abolish private schools, right? Don't go into the ins and out. Don't get dragged into things like, but how much would that cost the state system if we took them out of school? They'd have to be educated in the state system. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Because do you know what will change the fortunes of my local comp? If there's a millionaire on the PTA or the Board of Governors. That would really help. That would massively help with funding that school. Right, okay, yep. Every school deserves a millionaire. That's what I'm saying, okay? With a vested interest in that school being the best it could possibly be. Anyway, but we're not going to get into that. Just show them this website, privateschoolmafia.com. I just put it in the chat there. It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Everyone you love, everyone you hate, everyone you see on TV, everyone in Parliament, pretty much, everyone with a bit of wodge, all went to private school. And I've shown this to people who have been having these big arguments with me about private school. Oh, but if you abolish them, the X, Y, Z. And I go, look at this. And they start scrolling through it, thinking it's only going to be about 50 names. It's not. It's hundreds and hundreds of names. Literally everyone. I mean, there's only like 18 full-time presenters on LBC, and 12 or 13 of them went to private school. And you had one of them the other day who's taken over from... I'm just really bad at names today. I can't remember anyone's name. He's taken over from Ian... I've forgotten his name. The really smug camp one who looks like the RMC guy. Oh my god, I'm just okay. RMU, whatever. Anyway, let's get back into the chat. Bloody hell, having difficulty here. Anyway, yeah, but there was an LBC presenter who's standing in for another LBC presenter, and he was talking to another person about about how stratified society is essentially, and I'm sitting there going, both of you went to private school. Just like, do you even get to talk about this? Do you know what I mean? Like, does the king get to talk about what the peasants have for dinner? I don't know. Anyway, Ian Dale is the person who is replacing, and the guy's called Ali something. I forgot his name, but he's very posh. Look at how much Sunak has given to Winchester College. Yeah, £3 million. Oh, that's the taxpayers' money, by the way. £3 million to one school for their shooting range. You think I'm making that up, don't you? I'm not. Ian Dale, David Davis's campaign manager when he ran to be Tory leader. Swiss Tony. Well, you see, leaving the European Union is a lot like making love to a beautiful woman. Some of the 90s kids will get that reference. I look up new MPs and presenters on Wiki. They've usually gone to private school. Yeah. 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. And it just means that the rest of us are a little bit left. We feel a little bit left behind, you know? And it's encroaching into other things that it never used to encroach on. Like, acting used to have a little bit of snobbery about it. Obviously, you had your Laurence Olivier's and stuff. But it also had people coming up from nowhere. Cary Grant, Archibald Leach being a famous example. I mean, grew up in poverty in Bristol. His mum was put in a mental health facility. We didn't call them that then, but, you know, she was put in a mental health facility when Cary was still a boy. And his dad told him that his mum was dead. Yeah, and he managed to rise to the upper echelons of Hollywood. Then you had people like Sean Connery, who was a bloody milkman. You had people who was Michael Caine. You know, people with working class backgrounds getting into acting. Pete Postlethwaite. Now, nearly every single actor that you see, especially ones who win Oscars, with the possible exception of Gary Oldman. So Eddie Redmayne, Olivia Colman. You know, I really like these actors. Benedict Cumberbatch, obviously, you know, you're not going to a local comp with a name like Benedict, are you? They all have this wealthy background, and it's because if you haven't had that wealthy background, you can just about pay your rent working full time. If you're working full time, you can't afford to go to auditions. And the same thing's happened in the music industry, in which we are seeing artists coming up now, like Ed Sheeran, for example. I know going back a bit, Coldplay, but James Blunt, Will Young. I don't want posh choir boys singing sad songs at me. It just winds me up. Why am I being serenaded by a posh choir boy? I don't. Anyway, but they all came from money. Because nowadays you kind of need a little bit of money behind you before you can get anywhere in the music industry. Because the days of A&R men, it's a bit sexist, but there you go. A&R men going to gigs and going, hey, I like the cut of your jib, are over. And this is one of the reasons why guitar bands are in decline. And one of the few areas where we're actually seeing new music coming out of really talented artists are more underground scenes like grime, which is basically London rap. Yeah, but good luck getting into that if you're not from London. Yeah, indeed. I learned the hard way, all right. Fabricant used to be a second-hand rug salesman, where he's got one on his head. Queen were all privately educated. That's true. We've had to send our granddaughter. So was Joe Strummer from The Clash, which is one of the most surprising ones. Finish off my tea there. We used to send our granddaughter to private school because she was being bullied in state school and nothing was being done about it. I've heard that a few times, actually, where the state school system was failing, so there was an option to take children out of it. And, on a singular level, I get that. I completely get why you wouldn't want your daughter or your son to be in a school where they're having horrible things doing to them. However, at the same time, it does mean that you're taking your kid out of state education, and therefore you lose your vested interest in the local school being really good. So yeah, it's on an individual level, I absolutely get it. As a society, I think it's wrong, and I think it's something that's hugely damaging, especially when you talk in terms of social mobility and the fact that every single political leader in this country went to private school, pretty much. I mean, I'm sure you're going to go, oh, actually, the leader of the Scottish Lib Dems didn't go to private school. But the main parties, and then some of the more, Fruit Loop wingnut parties like Richard Tice and Loser Fox, they're all of that ilk. Anyway, Radiohead, says Gary Arnold. I have no. No, Radiohead are good. I work in costume for film TV as a leather worker. There's barely any other working class people in any department, all middle class, over 90% white, says Jazz. This is a real problem that we need addressing. We need affirmative action to be taken, not just in terms of ethnicity and sex, as in, we need a better gender equality, but also we need social equality, i.e., we need to stop giving people who are already rich all the best jobs. Because think about this for a moment, right? The people who aren't rich, like ourselves, super chats are open, we need those jobs more than they do. We need those jobs a lot more than they do, for heaven's sake. UK's 1,300 private schools gain tax advantages as a result of their charitable status, equating to more than 6% of England's total state school budget, 47.6 billion in 2020 to 2021. Yeah. They're charities for billionaires. That's what we subsidise with our tax. Charities for the children, the crotch spawn, the got other terms for them. The womb goblins, the children, the offspring of billionaires, and we subsidise it. Just like we subsidise the oil industry in this country. Because these Tories go, no, we can't subsidise solar farms, we can't subsidise wind farms. No, we can't do that. We'll actually ban wind farms on the land. We'll ban it. Wah! And meanwhile, given billions of pounds of our money that we pay in tax, VAT, income tax, inheritance tax if you're dead rich, and some can't say, we pay that. We pay this money to these billionaires. How does that system work? And why isn't someone stopping it? And why do people not care? They're more interested in billionaires stuck in a submersible than they are about the fact that these billionaires are absolutely taking us for a ride. And there are no good billionaires. Being a billionaire shows a moral vacancy where your soul should be. Nepo babies, that's the word. From Ernie Burns there. The fact that you call them public schools is just weird. I know it is weird, isn't it? I try and say private schools as much as possible because I understand that we have people from other countries watching this and going, what do you mean public school? Because in America, public school means a school that's open to the public. Anyone can go to it. So I try to use the term private school whenever I'm talking about them because I mean schools that you have to pay to get your children to go to and into. It's not just schools. The entire aristocracy and monarchy is a drag on society as a whole. Yeah, I agree with that to some extent, Richard. I mean, definitely, I'd rather not have a monarchy. I think when the Queen died, that should have been the end of it. But there's not that many of them. There's not that many. I mean, you look on the list, the private school mafia list. I mean, there's not that many aristocrats on there. There are some, but there's not that many. And yeah, I do think that we need a whole social adjustment, and a big one could be what Finland did in the 1970s. They banned all private schools. Anyway, the only way to destroy the aristocrats is to destroy the UK. Without the UK, these snobs die out. Yeah, possibly. You can sponsor my mother-in-law. She is on her own wind farm. Yes, indeed. Anyway, we're getting dragged into a conversation here about private schools. I don't know how that happened. I was going to talk about the 7 MPs that stuck with Johnson, including the rampant idiot Desmond Swain, who managed to not click his card as he went past. I think they've got an NFB cards or whatever, and they press NFC, sorry, and near field communication, and his card didn't beep or something like that. When you go on the underground and you try and get your card to beep and it didn't, his card didn't beep. He didn't notice. So for yesterday's show, I'm having this argument with Phil before we started, and I'm going, mate, it's 7. It's 7. He goes, no, look on the website. And I'm going, yeah, but look on Hansard. Hansard says it's 7. He says, yeah, but on this website it says it's 6. And then later on in the day, they actually corrected the website that Phil had sent me to. So it is 7. It's definitely 7, including Desmond Swain, who doesn't know how to use his card. But there you go. Anytime someone points out Kate Middleton was a commoner, I point out she went to the same school as Beatrice and Eugenie. Yeah, she's not a commoner. Well, this is why we need a new language to talk about this. Because when I say the people who went to private school, I'm using that as shorthand for people who were given a leg up at a very early age, who were born, pretty much all of them, born 3-0 up and think they scored a hat trick. They think they're just better than everyone else. And that is reinforced in school. Look, we'll do another video about this because I don't want to get too sidetracked. We're supposed to be talking about what's going on in the news today. Obviously, the bloody inflation sticking at 8.7% is pretty horrific. We've got WH Smith, Marks and Spencers, and Argos being found to have failed to pay minimum wage, which is disgraceful. And yes, and there's a really horrible story on the BBC. And I'll just put the link up here. And it's about the Windrush generation, the people coming across on the Windrush. Oh, do you know what? I've just accidentally... Oh, no, I haven't. I thought I'd accidentally closed the chat. There it is. This is about people who were coming across on the Windrush generation. I mean, they didn't all come across on the same boat, but hundreds of long-term sick and mentally ill people from the Windrush generation were sent back to the Caribbean. At least 411 people sent back to the Caribbean between the 50s and the 70s. And it ripped apart families. It's another story of just Britain doing horrible things in the past that a lot of British people don't want to face up to and don't want to, talk about. Anyway, right, I have gone a little bit over time. Is it UAE that owned Argos? I thought Argos was part of Sainsbury's now. How is it Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen is not on that list? Surely a name like that, he must be one of them. I don't know, probably because I haven't looked him up. If there's any errors or omissions, please let me know on my Twitter page. I'll add them. I'll go to Look at Russia from the Sky so that children can go to Scholar Europea again. Murray Black and Stephen Flynn, Salt of the Earth from the SNP. Indeed. Okay, so wild and spectacular news. I'm actually going to Glastonbury. I'm gonna take this. Does this even work anymore? Hello, does this even work? No, not very well. I'm going to Glastonbury later today, going to Glastonbury. So I'm going to be here for the show at 12 o'clock for PMQs. It's going to be the first PMQs after Boris Johnson's defenestration from the annals of politics, so hopefully in the UK forever. But I'm heading down after that. So tomorrow morning, when we normally have Morning Brew with Phil, I'm sorry to say it's going to be Morning Brew with me. Because even though I should be at the site by then, I can't trust that there will be internet, and I don't want to put Phil into a position where he's waiting to go online and do the show and he's prepared for it, and then it doesn't go ahead because I don't have decent internet. So I'm going to be doing the show at 9:30 tomorrow, and I'll also be streaming, hopefully, if I can, from Glastonbury over the weekend. We've got loads of fun stuff coming up, so look out for it on the Labour Social channel. On the Thursday at the Nomad stage in Shangri-La, I'll be performing, along with Danny effing Price and Aid Thompson and some other special guests. And I'll be on stage and we'll be talking about what we normally talk about, politics and bollocks. So if you'd like to watch a bit of that, I'm going to try and stream it on this channel. So no promises, but I should be popping up over the weekend. So please keep your notifications on. Hit the like icon, hit the notification icon, hit the nearest Tory. No, that was a joke. Hit the bell notification icon, and when we are going live, which could be like within a few seconds of notice, I'll let you know. But we should be on later tomorrow. We should be on at 9:30 for Morning Brew from Glastonbury, and then we'll be on at about 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon, broadcasting from the Nomad stage at Glastonbury. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if all the tech works and we have internet. So considering I'm on giffgaff on my mobile phone, we'll see how that works. But apparently there is Wi-Fi internet across the whole site this year. I'll believe it when I see it. But there you go. Cheers, Graham. Catch you later, peeps, says Aki's mad. And we've also got, if you can't stream it, hopefully you can record it. I will. Daily Blase says, have a great day, everyone, and enjoy yourself at Glastonbury, Graham. Thank you very much, Darren. And I hope you all have a great weekend if I don't see you before. But hopefully I'll see some of you in the chat at 12 o'clock for Prime Minister's Questions with commentary by me. Yes. Should be good. Okay, so thanks to everyone in the chat. If you want to head over to the Discord server, we'll be doing the usual James O'Brien listen along. If you can't get onto that, just give me a texty. Let me know somehow that you got problems getting on, and I'll try and sort that out for you. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.